I worry a lot about the TikTok preachers because you can get influence like that overnight with no process, with no training. You could hop on a TikTok right now and say something cool, say something catchy, a little bit of alliteration, and you get 200,000 views and then 1 million subscribers, and you think you're the guy. There's been no submission, there's been no process, there's no covering. That's huge. The real meaning behind pastoring people, it's not preaching, right? I would argue communicating, that's a gift, it's a talent, right? God gives that. But that's not necessarily the entirety of pastoring. So talk to me a little bit about that. The misconceptions of pastoring sometimes, like, it's not just preaching, it's a lot of hard work to do behind the scenes as well.
It is a lot. And for any pastors that are watching, forgive me if I have a different definition of it, but for us, it's really shepherding at the heart of it. It's taking on the responsibility of being a spiritual parent in some areas of life, sometimes spiritual older brother or younger brother, whatever that might look like. But really, we're discipling people, and really, we're all called to disciple people. And so there was a season where I was so hesitant about becoming a pastor because I had a reverence for it. And I when I hear about a pastor and I think about a pastor, I think of someone that is highly respected, high regarded, knows the Bible front and back. Like, if you ask them a question, they are the ones that know every answer, that they are going to answer every single phone call. They're going to do all these things, and all they have to do is just be there for you. And really, over time, I started to realize that, no, you don't need to know every single part of the Bible, but you at least need to know the core doctrines for sure. But you also just need to be available to walk through it with people. And that's where I lean into the shepherding part. Here's a great litmus test if someone is considering being a pastor. When someone says that they're going through hard times, they're in the hospital, and you aren't jumping to go to the hospital, there's probably some heart work that needs to get done before becoming a shepherd. If you're only there for the celebrations, like the weddings, but you're not there for the funerals, that's also probably a heart check. And so for us, and I think God has really blessed us with time as volunteers to be able to walk through those seasons with people. And so when we stepped into pastoring now, we're simply just doing it at a higher level. It doesn't feel like we're doing anything different. God has been preparing us in unique seasons, in unique ways all the way up to this point. And so that's where it's been, that's how I would pretty much define it, as like shepherding people.
And again, you said a key word again, preparing. God was preparing you. And you were serving in youth for 5 years with no agenda, just serving, right? And I think one of my biggest cautions for young people in ministry or aspiring to ministry, I think I worry a lot about the TikTok preachers, because you can get influence like that overnight with no process, with no training. You could hop on a TikTok right now and be like, say something cool, say something catchy, a little bit of alliteration, and you get 200,000 views and then 1 million subscribers, and you think you're the guy. And then there's been no submission, there's been no process, there's been no character development, there's no covering. That's huge. That's big. That's huge nowadays, right? So those are the types of things I worry about.
Yeah, with the TikTok TikTok evangelism. I actually first need to give massive props for those guys and girls. Like, that is, to be so bold in sharing of your platform like that, which for a lot of a generation, maybe it's just millennials, pretty guarded with that platform of social media, of like only showing the highlights. And so if someone is like, no, I'm going to try and explain soteriology to my audience, and it's like, I'm going to try and go for it. And they try it, and I'm sure they do well. If not better than some pastors. I think they're reaching an audience that not all of us have. And so props, but also to your point, like, you need a covering. My goodness, you need a covering. You need God's grace. You need God's mercy. And typically that comes in the form of a shepherd, some type of pastor that's going to walk through it with you. So I think it's so important to have that.